that the chairperson has resigned. Right Honourable Speaker and members, I wish to inform the House that the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission, Honourable Mariam Fazat Wangadya, submitted a notice of resignation to appointing authority, that is His Excellency the President of Uganda, on 6th July 2026. I wish to highlight that a notice to resign does not amount to resignation, but is merely intended to communicate the desire to resign and cannot be treated as a resignation. I wish to add that Honorable Mariam Fazat Wangadya remains the substantive chairperson of the Commission until she tenders in a letter of resignation to the appointing authority and the resignation is accepted.
This is my humble proposal, that any ad hoc committee or one of our committees, like human rights, the one in charge of human rights, yes, be assigned the duty to investigate, to probe into the affairs of Uganda Human Rights Commission. Mr. Speaker, to be sincere, there is bickering, there are disputes among the commissioners themselves. Sincerely, as a parliament, a democratic institution, we cannot sit down and look on. We must intervene, Mr. Speaker. When we get
of human rights, we cannot overemphasize it. That legal committees, that human rights, by the way, bickering between the commissioners or among the commissioners. This is one of the agencies probably you've heard that there's bickering. But there are so many bickering institutions. If we go on investigating, it's like when you pass by a neighbor's home and
Violation and protecting human rights and express dissatisfaction with the government in the context of government's response, and indicated that there were reports in the press relating to investigations of the Uganda Human Rights Commission by the Inspector General of Government. I was called upon to respond, and I requested for time to prepare a response, particularly in regarding to what was happening in the Human Rights Commission and being reported in the press. Honorable members, and this is why now I'm making this statement, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, the Human Rights Commission is established by Article 51 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Article 52 of the Constitution provides for the functions of the Commission, which includes, among others, to investigate on its own initiative or on a complaint made by a person or group of persons against the violations of human rights. The Uganda Human Rights Commission Act, Cap 26, further elaborates the functions of the Commission and its governance structure. Now I'm going on the effective composition of that Commission.
Right Honourable Speaker,
I've not been seeing you, but yeah, what's the procedure issue?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
He's not talking about fish, he's not talking about what, he's talking about human rights.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the procedure matter I'm raising is that the Attorney General is giving a statement, but it is either not uploaded on the iPad, or I need more orientation on uploading them. Because when you look at the iPad, the documents are totally
From the look of things, it seems like yours is... you've not picked your iPad. The Attorney General, please summarize this statement. Summarize. Yeah.
Right, Honourable Speaker.
You can follow from the screen.
Oh, the statement is already there. So what I want to go right ahead is to highlight those areas which were pertinent and have enough for Honorable Seungu to bring to this Honorable House and requiring a response. The most urgent was the press reports about the investigations. At page 3 of the statement, I inform this House that there are no investigations being carried out by the Inspector General of Government again about either the chairperson or any member of the Human Rights Commission or any staff. So there is no investigation taking place at the Human Rights Commission. And however, I need to draw your attention to Article 227 of the Constitution, where the Inspector General of Government enjoys independence and is not subject to the directions or control of any person or authority, and only responsible to this Parliament. In light of that provision, if the IGG eventually carries out investigations in the Human Rights Commission, and as I've stated, no investigations are being carried out, then that report will come to this Honorable Parliament. Now there have been reports that the chairperson has resigned. Right Honorable Speaker and members, I wish to inform the House that the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission, Honorable Mariam Fazat Wangadya, submitted a notice of resignation to appointing authority, that is His Excellency the President of Uganda, on 6th July 2026. I wish to highlight that a notice to resign does not amount to resignation, but is merely intended to communicate the desire to resign and cannot be treated as a resignation. I wish to add that Honorable Mariam Fazat Wangadya remains the substantive chairperson of the Commission until she tenders in a letter of resignation to the appointing authority and the resignation is accepted. Therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to affirm to this House that the Commission, the Uganda Human Rights Commission, its operations are not in any way distorted. The Commission continues to operate and perform its mandate in accordance with the law. I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Seungu. Are you going to debate notice of resignation or resignation?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to thank the Minister, the Attorney General, for being on dot. When I raised this matter, he promised to report back, and he has done so. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank the ministers of this term. Their performance is good so far. And when you hear Seungu thanking you, don't think it's a simple matter. even the previous speakers, matters being raised, they are bringing them. But it is interesting that the Attorney General is contradicting himself. It is within your own statement. And that's why normally we insist that you continue, you read your statement as you uploaded it on the system. Within your statement itself, you have stated that Inspector General of Police, the IGG is inspecting the Human Rights Commission. And you are stating again, she's not being investigated. You've talked about tendering in notice of resignation. These days, even in the court, we use electronic methods, even audio visuals. However, my main interest, Mr. Speaker, is not about resignation. By the time I raised this matter, the Human Rights Commission chairperson had not resigned. But my interest is on Chapter 4 of the Constitution. Chapter 4 of the Constitution, which is the core value of Uganda's Constitution. And specifically, Mr. Attorney General, through the Speaker, address yourself to Article 52 and 53 of the Constitution. Most of the work,
I insist that you read what you are reading on record.
you know, he was trying to remind me how we used to work together before he became a minister. And Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Speaker, all the issues being raised by our leader of opposition, which are being consumed by the public, are the duties of the Human Rights Commission. They are the duties of the Human Rights Commission. If we are looking for Mwanga Chivumbi, we are looking for the members talked about and so many others. It is the duty under Article 52 of the Constitution that the Human Rights Commission has all those powers to look for all those people and investigate. But here we are now. There is bickering in the Human Rights Commission. Bickering. Others are talking about people suffering with AIDS, which is against the the HIV Act again, because you cannot subject someone to torture being employed by government because he's HIV positive, then you have to die.
Thank you, Honorable.
So as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I would pray through you to the Attorney General and the leader of government business, go back to the appointing authority and make this commission be what it's supposed to be. Otherwise, it is shameful. And people cannot address their issues to an office, an entity, which is also bickering itself. They are going there for remedies, but there are no remedies within the institution that is within government. I beg to rest my issue. But thank you.
I think government take note that Honorable Sewungu and others are not satisfied by the performance of the Uganda Human Rights Commission. You want, please, let's move.
Where we are witnessing human rights abuse every day. Right Honorable Speaker, the previous engagement of the chairperson of the commission when she went out in the media, it tells a very big story within the Human Rights Commission. Right Honorable Speaker, the Auditor General's report, the one we are considering for the last financial year, indicated that that commission has over 1,000 cases that have been with them for over 20 years. Right Honorable Speaker, when I saw this matter on the order paper, I really never thought it was a matter to answer Honorable Sewungu's matter of national importance. I want to seek your guidance, Right Honorable, whether it is not right that this House gets a time when a proper statement about matters of human rights and the Human Rights Commission are brought and we debated them here, Right Honorable Speaker. We are chanced that we have the representative of the Army, and we are chanced we have them here on that day. Although they are listening posts most of the time, they could also participate in the debate about human rights abuse. Right Honorable Speaker, I need your guidance on that. Thank you.
I think I would love to see in this House where we shall be able to debate the laws on human rights and how we can balance the balancing of the right of the person who is a victim, and we define who is a victim, and then also we balance the rights of those who have been either apprehended. There are those who have been, those who are aggrieved, who are the complainants. There is the issue of balancing of rights. When does human rights start to be human rights? That when you commit an offense and you are apprehended, the human rights you still should be accorded the same constitutional protection that is enshrined in the Constitution. Now, when that is not accorded, that's when you get to hear people saying this one is abducted. I don't believe in that language because I was somewhere else. So, Honorable Leader of Government Business, let's find time one day in this House and we debate all matters pertaining to human rights. So that we come, Uganda has made a lot of progress on these matters of human rights. We should not lose them out. I think we can dedicate a day that we can speak our lungs out. That is if the heart is deceitful. We shouldn't use them. We can speak using either our kidneys because the kidneys filter. So that we can be honest with one another that what is human rights? Who should define for that? Is there anything different from the law? If it is what is the law, you know, how do we balance criminality and human rights? Honorable To, what were you saying?
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you. Right, Honorable Speaker, I believe you're aware, and I do acknowledge that there are many issues with respect to human rights, but this matter had been previously brought before Parliament and it was referred to the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. I see the desire to debate this matter as a big house, but the procedural issue I was interested in is that would it not be proper, given that this matter is now the first business before Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, that all the interested parties come here, we get a comprehensive report on all what has been raised and even what had been referred, so that we can have a very good debate here. That was the procedural guidance I was seeking, but I think you've guided that way. Thank you.
Thank you. And then that debate, Parliamentary Affairs, and you are supposed to report back. When you bring back that report, we shall not crowd the order paper. Let everybody come here. Let's Parliament to be known that one day we set aside the day to debate human rights, because we are all humans. Now, the Shadow Attorney General, you have a right of reply right now. You reply.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Intended. But
it will be intended because you've already intended.
Mr. Speaker, this is my humble proposal that any ad hoc committee or one of our committees, like human rights, the one in charge of human rights, yes, be assigned the duty to investigate, to probe into the affairs of Uganda Human Rights Commission. Mr. Speaker, to be sincere, there is bickering, there are disputes among the commissioners themselves. Sincerely, as a parliament, a democratic institution, we cannot sit down and look on. We must intervene, Mr. Speaker. When we get the report from that committee, in case, Mr. Speaker, you allow the committee to be assigned, it will be the basis for our debate, Mr. Speaker. I beg to submit.
Okay. the aspect of human rights, we cannot overemphasize it. That legal committee is that human rights, by the way, bickering between the commissioners or among the commissioners. This is one of the agencies probably you've heard that there's bickering. But there are so many bickering institutions. If we go on investigating, it's like when you pass by a neighbor's home and you hear they're quarreling and you stop by. You want to inquire, you will hear again another neighbor.
Yes.
But the point which has been made is that this is affecting the performance of the Human Rights Commission as an institution. And we believe that the relevant committee is at liberty to invite the Human Rights Commission team to come and answer a few of the issues. And when they bring the report, we can go on. Please, can we go to the next?
Item. I also extend a word of congratulations to you. And the Honorable Sewungu is reminding me to receive and appreciate the leaders of the Washiga community from Kanungu. I want to welcome my leaders from Kanungu. We had already welcomed them. So, right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, yesterday, the 14th of July, 2026, the Honorable Karuya Kiza Andrew, Member of Parliament for Chiguru South, raised the matter of national importance regarding the death of learners at Makerere College School, Mengo Senior Secondary School, and Gayaza High School, which he attributed to a suspected new strain of malaria. I undertook in my initial response yesterday to this House to come up with a comprehensive statement over the matter, and that's why I am here. I think also the Honorable Namboze of Mukono had also raised that matter on the list of issues of national importance yesterday. So on behalf of the government of Uganda and the Ministry of Health in particular, I extend our deepest condolences to the families, guardians, school communities, and fellow learners of the 4 learners who have tragically lost their lives, and to the families affected by the other recent incidents at Naria Secondary School, Ndeje Secondary School, Katakwi Secondary School, and Kachiri Secondary School. No parent should send a child to school and receive news of this nature. So we convey our condolences to the families. This statement sets out first the factual position on the reported death. Second, the technical explanation for why school-age children are presenting with severe malaria. Third, I will also speak to whether there is a new or more virulent parasite strain responsible for this death. And fourth, I will also speak about the measures government has already put in place and the commitments that I want to make before this Parliament. Let me now speak to the factual position on the reported death, and the statement is loaded on the iPads. The Ministry of Health confirms that 4 learners have died in the Kampala metropolitan area following severe malaria. 2 at Makerere College School, 1 at Mengo Senior Secondary School, and 1 at Gayaza High School. And for completeness, and to avoid the conflation of unrelated incidents in the public discourse, we also want to press on record that separate recent learner deaths also occurred in other schools, but these deaths were not related to this surge in malaria and are not part of this malaria cluster. I have provided a table that indicates the number of deaths in the various schools. Makerere College School, the cause of death of the 2 learners was due to severe malaria. Mengo Senior Secondary School, one child died due to severe malaria. In Gayaza High School, one learner also died due to severe malaria. In Inaria Secondary School, we lost one learner due to suicide, and this was not related to malaria. In Ndeje Secondary School, we lost one learner, and the death was secondary to trauma. This also was not related to malaria. In Katakwi Secondary School, the student died due to road traffic accident. And in Kachiri Secondary School, also it was due to the road traffic accident. Honorable members will note that the 4 malaria-related deaths are concentrated in Kampala metropolitan area, a historically low transmission zone. And I will speak to this later what it means. This geographic pattern is central to the ministry's technical assessment below and is not on the current evidence indicative of a nationwide surge in malaria mortality among school-age children. In other words, we are saying there is no nationwide surge in malaria infections, but these deaths occurring among our children, our learners, largely in the Kampala greater metropolitan area, because it's a low transmission zone and the learners do not have the immunological competence to fight off malaria, as I will explain. Honorable members, Right Honorable Speaker, let me provide the technical explanation why school-age children in urban areas have an elevated risk of malaria. And the question which is being posed, is this a new or more dangerous strain of malaria or not? Right Honorable Speaker, I want to address this question directly and without ambiguity, because it is a question that has understandably alarmed the parents and the public. Uganda routinely conducts genomic surveillance of circulating malaria parasites through the National Malaria Control Division in the collaboration with research partners. Genomic surveillance refers to the analysis of genetics of the parasites to see whether what is causing this outbreak or infection is different genetically from the other parasites. So we usually carry out those assessments and analysis. And this surveillance has not detected any change in the virulence of the parasites currently circulating in the country. Virulence means the ability to cause disease and in a more aggressive manner. So the analysis we have done doesn't show that there is a change in the type of parasites causing these infections among our children. So Plasmodium falciparum, which is the parasite which causes malaria, remains as it has for decades the dominant species in Uganda and accounts for approximately 97% of infections, and it is well established as the species responsible for the most severe forms of the disease. So what I'm saying is that what has killed these learners is the same type of parasite which ordinarily causes malaria. It's not a new strain that has caused this. So on the basis of the current genomic and clinical surveillance data, the ministry's technical position is that there is no evidence of a new malaria strain driving these deaths. So I am just alluding the fears because the issue being raised was that there is a new strain of malaria parasites. And I'm saying, you know, it is the ordinary parasite that is causing these deaths. So the question then is, why then are school-age children dying? And I'm going to answer that. The explanation lies not, but rather in the immunological profile of the affected population. That's the ability of the body to defend itself against the malaria. That's what I mean by immunological profile. Uganda's sustained investment in malaria control over the past 2 decades, and the measures include long-lasting insecticide nets, and I hope all of you sleep under mosquito nets as members of parliament. If you don't, inform me as the Minister of Health. The other measures are indoor residual spraying, which have been using, and also improved case management. These measures, among others, have substantially reduced transmission in urban and highland areas, including the Kampala metropolitan area. I am saying highland areas and Kampala because these are areas where transmission is usually low. They are not malaria-prone areas. And in such places, you'll find the people do not have acquired immunity against infection because they are not exposed. Now, for those who come from areas where there's a lot of malaria, you get that immunity, the defense system in your body. But if you are from an area, Kampala, highland areas, because there is no high frequency of malaria, then your body doesn't develop enough defense against it. And when you get the attack, then it becomes very severe. And this is what is causing the problem in the children. So this is, on its own terms, a public health success. Success meaning the other interventions we have been providing. However, it has produced a well-documented epidemiological paradox that children growing up in these low transmission areas are exposed to malaria parasites less frequently in early childhood and therefore do not build up the same level of acquired immunity as children in high transmission rural areas. And that's the explanation I am giving. That children who are in areas with high density of malaria, they develop immunity early enough. But those from areas where malaria is not of high prevalence, they don't develop adequate defense systems in the body. And those areas include Kampala and the greater metropolitan areas, and some highland areas like Chigezi, the Bugisu areas. So, and that's the problem here we are facing, that the children affected had a low immunity because they are not exposed to malaria in their early ages.
Honorable Minister, do you want to go to the Minister of Health response? I know Honorable Kaluya is already nodding because you've used a lot of terminologies. That's the problem of making a PhD holder to be a Minister of Health. Can you go to...
That the chairperson has resigned. Right Honourable Speaker and members, I wish to inform the House that the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission, Honorable Mariam Fazat Wangadya, submitted a notice of resignation to appointing authority, that is His Excellency the President of Uganda, on 6th July 2026. I wish to highlight that a notice to resign does not amount to resignation, but is merely intended to communicate the desire to resign and cannot be treated as a resignation. I wish to add that Honorable Mariam Fazat Wangadya remains the substantive chairperson of the Commission until she tenders in a letter of resignation to the appointing authority and the resignation is accepted.
This is my humble proposal, that any ad hoc committee or one of our committees, like human rights, the one in charge of human rights, yes, be assigned the duty to investigate, to probe into the affairs of Uganda Human Rights Commission. Mr. Speaker, to be sincere, there is bickering, there are disputes among the commissioners themselves. Sincerely, as a parliament, a democratic institution, we cannot sit down and look on. We must intervene, Mr. Speaker. When we get
of human rights, we cannot overemphasize it. That legal committee is that human rights, by the way, bickering between the commissioners or among the